Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24 will be available September 17th. Pre-order your copy today.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Infinity Broadcasting channel here. And for round number 2 of Season 1 of the iRacing World Challenge presents the GT4 Challenge. Out at the Hockenheim ring, Baden-Württemberg here for our first foray into European action for the GT4s. I'm your commentator here this evening, Hamish Munro, bringing you all the action through sight and sound, as always, here on the Infinity Broadcasting channel. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button, the like, and the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing here with any more iRacing World Challenge action to come. Qualifying is currently underway for these drivers. We're going to take a quick little preview of this beautiful Hockenheim Baden-Württemberg, I should say, circuit here out in Germany. One of my personal faves of the German variety as we scroll our way down into this beautiful part of the world in Germany, not too far south of Frankfurt, slightly northwest of München, as we come down towards this beautiful track course. Previously, this track was quite big. You can see down at turn 1 as we trickle our way on through. It used to extend out in towards the forest that would eventually come up towards or down at turn 16, it would go out and then come back up around towards Nord Curve for turn number 1. It's going to be an incredibly difficult lap for these drivers. It looks simple, but it is deceivingly technical at this place. We start on the main straight up through Nord Curve for turn 1. Tight little corner, hard little braking zone. Very, very easy to run it wide. Cop yourself an off track. These drivers are going to have to be careful of off tracks here tonight. To not get too many of them is going to be imperative. Fast run then up towards Einfahrt Parabolica for turn 2, down through 3 and 4 as well. Tough little section. Again, you can get caught up under brakes. You can end up out wide. You can end up with a car on your inside as you come through 2. And then they're attacking you for 3 and 4. It's going to be a tough challenge to defend through there. Then out for the Parabolica for turn number 5. Out towards Spitzkau for turn 6. A real fast run around this curve straight into the hard braking zone at the hairpin. One of the most famous corners on this circuit. One of the most famous corners in the world of racing as well. Down at the Spitzkau for turn 6. Then it's a fast run up towards turn 7 into the first stadium section of this circuit. Up to turn 8 at Mercedes and then 9 and 10 as well. Again, tough little section. Fast right-hander into the braking zone for the left at turn 8. Trying to get the car pulled up, trying to get it turned in. Try not to run it too wide onto the curbs, because if you catch any wheel spin on those curbs off exit, it's going to hurt you and you might end up spinning around and ending up in the wall. Then up towards Mobile 1 for turn 11. Again, another fast corner. We've already seen some drivers in practice struggling through there to get onto the brakes and to keep the car lined up through that corner. Very easy to run it wide into the sand trap on the left-hand side and into the wall as well. Then up towards Sachs Curve for turn 12, and then turn 13, 14 and 15 as well ends out the second stadium section here. Many, many famous moments have happened in this section in the world of racing, not just GT4s, DTM, as well as Formula 1 as well. Who can forget Sebastian Vettel running it a bit wide and straight lining turn 12 and ending up in the wall back in 2017. Then we come around for turn 16 for the Sud Curve for the final corner of this track. And that is the circuit. That is Hockenheim, the Hockenheim Ring Baden-Württemberg here tonight. And it's going to be a tough task. It's going to be a tough challenge for these drivers to set themselves up, get ready for racing. We've got 8 drivers out on track here tonight. Only one of the championship leaders has joined us here tonight, Jack Michelson. Sean Lindsell not here this evening, so we will be guaranteed a singular championship leader at the end of this one, we would hope. Of course, this was opened in 1982. This layout's been used ever since 2002, so 22 years this layout has been used, 4.5 Ks or 2.8 miles if you use the old language, 16 turns for a clockwise configuration, and a hell of a challenge for these drivers here tonight. But qualifying is just about to get done and dusted. It is open qualifying, and at the moment, this man right here, Jack Michelson, round winner last time out alongside Sean Lindsell, currently sits top of the timing sheets with a 146.783 at the moment. And we'll be hoping to continue to better this time and maybe even get down towards the 465s if he is able to. Jack Anderson currently sits P2. He's also in the 46s as well, so he's managed to better his time from practice. He's got a 46.88. Tyler Sheaf in behind them on debut into this series. He currently sits, no, we don't want gap, we want best time. There we go. Currently sits on a 147.231 as Anderson goes better once again, a 146.877. McLeod P4 on debut into the series has done a 48.1. Pollard on debut into the GT4 has previously raced in the Legends World Challenge Series. Currently sits in P5 with a 148.3. Ferguson P6, 148.3. Rowe P7 with a 150.0. Boardman yet to set a time in the session, but he is out on track in his Mercedes AMG GT4 car. Let us know. Get into the chat. Have a bit of banter with us. Have a bit of conversation. Ask any questions you may want to ask in the chat here tonight about the GT4 Challenge, about the iRacing World Challenge as well. It's free to sign up if you do want to race with us. The link to the Discord is in the description of the show over here on YouTube, and you can join the Discord, sign up. It'll give you access to all of our series here in the iRacing World Challenge. As Borsman, good old James Boardman, now has gone P7 on the road with a 149.0 for his first time to count in this session. But at the moment, it is Anderson still trying to chase down the lap time of the car behind him of Jack Michelson. At the moment, it's a bit of double Jack attack at the top end of town for the timing tower with a little under 5 minutes to go in this session. Just about 4 minutes to go in this session for these drivers to try and better their times and get as close as possible to their competitors as Anderson pulls up on the side of the road, lets Michelson go by him in towards the final sector. Rest of this season, we've spoken about the calendar a multitude of times. This race was supposed to be at Cadwell Park, but due to some organisational issues with flights and getting these cars to the circuit, it was decided it was going to be easier for us to actually go racing here at Hockenheim. The flights were cheaper. The transit was cheaper to get the cars here, and the drivers just able to go racing a lot easier at this track than what we would have at Cadwell Park, hence the track change, of course. But it hasn't seemed to phase any of these drivers, including Michelson. He's still top of the timing sheets. He's still a heavy championship favourite at the moment. And with Linzell away this week, this is going to help Michelson's chances, because obviously if he can make every single round and the drop round that Linzell's taking is a 0, well, that's going to help Michelson's case much, much better. But he is under pressure on the timesheets. He doesn't exactly lead it by a hell of a lot. He only leads at the moment on the timing sheets by 0.09 of a second over Jack Anderson in behind him. So the gap's there. Can Anderson get it? Well, he's got about 3 minutes to set a new lap time and try and beat him if he can. Let's talk about Jared McLeod as well. A rookie on iRacing. He's been on iRacing for around about 2 weeks. Currently sits P4 in the standings. And with his inclusion this week, and as well as the inclusion of TJ Pollard, we now have one of every manufacturer on the grid. We do not have one of every car type, as we are still without the old BMW GT4 car in the field. But we do have at least one of every manufacturer out there now. Tonight, we do have one of every manufacturer on track. We have 2 BMWs, being Jack Michelson and Jack Anderson. The 2 Shell V-Power McLarens of Jordan Ferguson and Tyler Sheaf are out there, as well as Ferguson pulls it up. The Porsche Carrera GT4 car of Jared McLeod. And then the 2 Merc AMG GT4s of James Boardman and Johnny Rowe at the back end of the field at this stage. So there is going to be some contention between these drivers. Do we, in fact, have the car logo of each car? Oh, we're still without the new BMW having its logo. That's a real shame. Once we get that going, though, that's going to be exceptional to run on the broadcast for sure. You'll see as well, Michelson has got an orange number next to his name on the timing tower. That is to signal that he is the leader of the championship. Now, if Linzell was here, he would have had that orange number next to his name, seeing that he had pole position last week at Belle Isle. But I thought, since he isn't racing this week and Michelson is out there and they're tied on points, we'll give him the orange number for this week. We'll recognise that he is one of the 2 championship leaders. And then, you know, if he's leading the championship still in round 2 or round 3 next week, he can keep the number on the timing tower next to his name. So that is what the differential is. It's what I'm implementing this season for not only the GT4 Challenge, but also V8 Vets, just to help drivers and viewers track where some of their favourites are at in terms of championship order, in case they are leading the championship, as Borsman has now gone P4 on the road with a 148.03 on the timing tower. Exceptional lap time there from James Boardman. He's done incredibly well to get that job done and to surpass Jared McLeod, who sits in the top 5. One of every manufacturer in the field, but not one of every manufacturer in the top 5. TJ Pollard in that Aston Martin, still yet to get into the top 5, but himself and the 3 other drivers ahead of him, not including Jordan Ferguson, would have to get past Jack Anderson or Jack Michelson to make that happen. As we have only 5 seconds left in the session, this is not going to come down to the wire. Jack Michelson is going to take the 2nd pole position of the season after qualifying with a time of 146.78 on the road. An exceptional lap from him there. We'll get the starting grid up for race number 1. This is how they'll line up. Jack Michelson ahead of Jack Anderson alongside him, with Tyler Sheaf, James Boardman, Jared McLeod, Jordan Ferguson, TJ Pollard, and Johnny Rowe makes up the grid here tonight. 8 drivers out on track. We'll see how they go under these rolling start conditions. We already saw last week, as Michelson's having some blinking issues here, we already saw last week This man right here, Jack Anderson, was involved in some controversy on the first race start with Johnny Rowe, who's a bit further back in the field here tonight. Hopefully, we do not get any controversy on the warm-up lap. Hopefully, everyone can make it to the green flag. Hopefully, everyone can make it to the front end of town here tonight. And hopefully, they can all make it to the line and get ready to go racing here for the iRacing World Challenge GT4 Challenge out on track. The IRWC back again for another season with a different series on offer here tonight. Now, we haven't had any Legends World Challenge action these last 2 weeks because we're still not getting the numbers that we would have desired. If we do not get it by this Friday night for round 3, then unfortunately that series will be putting on the chopping block, putting our focus into running a different series next season. Michelson still blinking on the start line. So what this now means is that, for example, if Michelson were to disconnect from this race, it would take him out of the lead of the championship and would really be, it would be making, this, it would force him to have this as his drop round. So he needs to try and keep that connection nice and solid. Needs to try and keep it at the front of the field and take maximum points while Sean Lindsell is away for round 2. Lights are up, meaning that the safety car is going to pull away and lead these drivers down the line towards the start-finish line. We are starting back at the first stadium section of this circuit. So Michelson just taking his time to warm up those tyres, warm up that car. Anderson still will be starting alongside him. He's not overtaking him there. Just getting up to pace. Get your predictions into the chat if you're watching us live on YouTube over on the Infinity Broadcasting channel. Let us know who you think's going to win this one. Can Michelson's internet hold up? Is Anderson, has he got the spark to get the job done on him? Or will it be an outsider like Sheaf on the debut, Boardman on the debut, Ferguson on the return? He was P3 last week. Exceptional job from him. Could it be Rowe? Could it be McLeod? Could it be Pollard? Or are we only surmising, and it's already done before it started? Is it Michelson's to claim before the race has even gotten underway here tonight at the Hockenheim ring, Baden-Württemberg, as they trickle their way around turn 12 for 13, 14 and 15. The safety car will come in the lane, and the onus will be on Michelson on the left-hand side of screen, right-hand side of the road. BMW have locked out the front row of the grid for round 2. Are they going to lock out the top 2 positions in the race? Answers are coming for those questions as the lights are up. And Michelson leads them round. It's lights out and away we go at Hockenheim ring for round 2, race number 1. Sheafy already decides to run over to the racing line at turn 1. Tries to follow Anderson around. Anderson sends it on the outside of Michelson at turn 1. Michelson catching a heap of curb through there. Sheafy already trying to get up past him as well. Here comes McLeod on the... Boardman. McLeod was on the inside. Couldn't quite get it done. Michelson's already lost toe positions off the first 2 corners, and he's under pressure right now as Pollard's gone round as well as Sheaf of the exit. Massive moment in the background. A massive moment in the background, and Rowe is stuck in the wall. Johnny Rowe is stuck in the wall. Massive moment down at turn 3 and 4. Back up the front, Anderson leads. Boardman up the inside of Michelson. Can he get the job done? He does indeed, but Boardman is under attack right now from Michelson in behind him. We'll get some replays happening at that moment at the end of this lap. In towards the stadium section, it almost feels like a race of survival now for some of these drivers. Massive chaos and controversy early on. Michelson eating those curbs like I like to eat cheeseburgers. Just an unbelievable attack on the corners at the moment. But right now he's under assault from the rookie Jared McLeod. Can he survive at this point, or is he toying? Is he playing with his food? Is he just having a bit of fun in the mid-pack and doesn't want to run away with it? Only time will tell. We can see Ferguson. He's managed to keep it clean once again. He currently sits P5. Top 5 nice and closely contested together at the moment. Sheaf, Pollard, they're further back. Rowe had to tow back to piss after getting stuck in the wall. As they come round turn 16. Anderson leads the way in the white line-powered Velocity Racing Team BMW at the front end of the field. And this is how they all currently line up at the moment. we'll quickly check out what happened off that race start. A wild, massive moment. So it started with Tyler Sheaf going off track, caught some curvature, and then bang, straight in the wall. And then that was almost like Pollard has tried to overcorrect. Oh, no, he had a wiggle. He had a massive wiggle. So if we go right here on this one just for a second. So you see that? He caught a wiggle, catches it, then bang! Rowe had nowhere to go. Johnny Rowe just had nowhere to go off that one. So a massive moment early on in this race. And Pollard is still struggling at the back end of the field here. What's he done? Has he pulled it up or has he actually had a genuine moment? Hey, it's flicked around. The back of that car's broken. The rear suspension is absolutely fried on that Aston Martin. The only Aston in the whole field. And he's already gone a lap down, unfortunately, on these leaders. As Anderson leads the way around. Or he hasn't actually necessarily gone a lap down yet, but he has just come in the pit lane. Anderson's flashing the lights. He knows he's on screen. He's got Boardman in behind as well as Michelson as well. And we get to take a breath for a moment here. As he's run it wide at turn 11. Too busy focusing on flashing the lights instead of focusing on the braking zone. And he has a big old blink through 13 and 14. Michelson sends it round the outside of Borsman. Up through turn 16 now. They continue on to lap number 3. 3 minutes 40 seconds into this 20-minute first race of the night. And they are absolutely cooking at the moment. The front runners. Top 5 closely contested. Rowe is now back out on track. Pollard is in the pit lane. Oh, as Anderson makes a mistake at turn 2, that allows Michelson back through. Be in the chat, don't crash Jack. Which Jack are we referring to? Anderson or Michelson? I assume you mean Anderson. Great to have you out there watching with us and in the chat as he's under pressure right now from Boardman and McLeod. They're too wide down towards turn 6. McLeod trying to get it done. Boardman going to try and get it around the outside. Don't make contact. They do well. Ferguson lurking in behind them here. He's got the best seat in the house at the moment. Is he right on board with him here? Endo, of course. Of course, the love for the Endo. The love for the Endo. You know, if there was a man out there, Jack Anderson deserves the love. Borsman giving heaps of room right now to Jared McLeod. He is being very respectful of the car on his inside. McLeod being very respectful of the car on the outside as well. He's not just bombing it at these corners. He's trying to play a patient game. Go on board with him now. Here's McLeod. Doing an exceptional job at the moment. Here's the young fella. Fresh to iRacing. Only on iRacing for 2 weeks at this stage. Running top 4 at the moment in the GT4 Challenge. And in behind, V8 Vets race winner for Split 2. James Boardman won it out at Bathurst back in 2022. Did Mr. Boardman. As they come around to start lap number 4. And back up the front, Michelson under attack from Jack Anderson. So it's a Jack 1v1 for the lead of this race. We are only a quarter of the way through race number 1. 20-minute affair here tonight as McLeod gets it done on the inside of Boardman. He nearly lost another spot to Ferguson as well. He was lucky he didn't sneak it up there. It's a good job Ferguson forgot the baby oil. Does not want to cop a case out here tonight at Hockenheim. It almost seems like they're settling into that groove now, just getting themselves prepared for the rest of this race. I mean, 20 minutes, it's a long time, close contention on the road. It's a tough task to stay, you know, racing at such a high pace, such a consistent pace as well. I mean, we'll look at the last couple laps of the top 2 drivers here. So lap 1, Michelson did a 55.7. Anderson was faster on that lap. Michelson then did the fastest lap of the race, a 1:48. Anderson, 0.9 of a second slower. Last lap, 48.1 for Michelson. 1 second off the pace was Jack Anderson, but he is still hanging on to the back of him here. So we'll see what the comparative lap time is when they cross the line this time by. And if Anderson has, in fact, actually gone faster than Michelson did on this last lap. It seems like he has, because he has caught him up a little bit here as they cross the line. What's the lap time going to be? 1:46.5 for Michelson, so fastest lap of the race. That's, in fact, faster than his qualifying time. Anderson has gone 0.157 slower, so he's matching the pace at the moment of the leader is Anderson. He's done a 1:46.7, or 1:46 just under 1:46.7 actually on that last lap. About a 0.69 for Anderson there. So the pace is on between them. If we compare behind Boardman and McLeod, see here, lap 1, Boardman did a 55.4, McLeod was slightly slower. Every lap afterwards, though, and Boardman's done a personal best on the last lap, every lap since then, McLeod has been faster than Boardman, as it's now comparing him to Ferguson behind. So this battle's on, and these guys are swapping and changing positions at the moment, like kids trading Pokemon cards in the schoolyard. They are loving it out there, having a great little scrap for P3 on the road. As McLeod sends it up the inside at turn 8 at Mercedes. Gets the job done. Ferguson as well around the outside of Borsman now at turn 9. Job done for him up towards turn 11. Side by side. Borsman lets him have it. Smart play there from James. He knows it's a long race. He knows we've got 12 minutes to go, or just under 11 minutes to go. He does not want to fight this too hard and make life too difficult for himself, because these guys have already given up 4 seconds up to at least Jack Anderson, who's actually now starting to give up some time to Michelson by trying to hang on to the back of him. Up the road from them, TJ Pollard's coming through turn 2 at the moment. Johnny Rowe is just ahead of the leaders right now off the exit of turn 1, and Tyler Sheaf is just coming into the last corner, so he's actually not too far behind the likes of Boardman and Ferguson. This battle's just come through turn 1, so a little bit of time between them. If these guys continue to tangle, he could catch them eventually side by side in turn 2. Fantastic racing from these guys. Plenty of racing room being given here tonight at the Hockenheim ring. And Boardman gets the job done. Back on Ferguson and back up into P4 on the road. At this stage, as Johnny Rose had a moment down at the hairpin, he's run it wide. And that now is going to leave Michelson and Anderson to hunt him down here and put him a lap under. So the battles have been on fresh and early. We're at the halfway point of this race. Not too much longer to go for these drivers as, oh my God, Michelson nearly just absolutely chops the nose off Rowe's car. Anderson will be hopeful he can get this done on Rowe nice and cleanly. Remember, these guys tangled last week at Belle Isle multiple times. They tangled on the warm-up lap at Belle Isle. They also tangled in race 2 off the restart, which cost Anderson the possibility of a podium. So they have got some friendly rivalry between them and some history as well. So I don't know if Rowe's going to make this easy for Anderson, but it's costing him time. He's already lost another second, 1.2 seconds on Michelson in P1. He still can't get past him. Rowe will be getting those blue flags at the moment. And Anderson is getting annoyed. He's getting feisty with him. He's flashing him. Up at turn 2. Sends it up the inside. Gets the job done. Brake checks him on the apex as well to let him know, hey, I was coming by, son. You got the blue flags. You got to let me go. As Boardman now gets past McLeod. But they're still side by side. This young fella, Jared McLeod, is having one hell of a race at the moment. On debut into the iRacing World Challenge. 2 weeks into his iRacing journey. And he is going head-to-head with a former Split 2 race winner in the Vets in James Boardman. He is having an electrifying race. Here's young James McLeod, or Jared McLeod, but he's been absolutely mugged off by Borsman, the old switchback at the hairpin. Boardman gets the job done. Back up into P3. They're having a great race, but McLeod gets absolutely mugged through that corner. But with Boardman running it wide at turn 8, might make it a bit easier for Jared to get it back past. Could not quite get the run on him, though, up into turn 9 and 10. As they come through 11th, it's closest battle on track for P3 at the moment. Boardman, McLeod, and Ferguson. 7.5 minutes to go. Ferguson absolutely sends it up the inside of McLeod at turn 12. Cannot quite get the run. Has to let him have it. Has to let him hold position for the moment, does Ferguson. Fantastic battling from these guys at the moment. On board with Ferguson. Off the back of McLeod's car. Under pressure from the Shell V-Power machine. As they run it through turn 1. Attacking those curbs. Just pure pressure at the moment from Jordan Ferguson. Further ahead, Jack Anderson has given up further time now to Jack Michelson at the front of the field. 4.5 seconds is now the gap up to the leader as he comes into turn 6. There's Boardman in behind him. He's currently upcoming on Johnny Rowe. There is Jared McLeod, who's been having an exceptional race thus far, has this young man. An incredible job in this one. He has now given up time to Boardman, so Boardman has checked out on him a little bit here. We've got just over 6 minutes to go in this race. And he's under immense pressure right now from the driver behind him of Jordan Ferguson in the Shell V-Power machine. So we'll see if Fergo wants to send him once again or if he's willing to be a little bit more patient in this stadium section. Pollard back in the pit lane once again. We're going to sit on board with Jordan Ferguson for this next lap, ladies and gentlemen, as he hopes to chase down Jared McLeod. Enjoy the lap with the Shell V-Power machine and Jordan Ferguson. Great to be back after that lap there with Jordan Ferguson. Still unable to get past Jared McLeod as of just yet. Ladies and gentlemen, we can see the dashboard in the bottom corner. Just checking out some of that pace that Ferguson's been able to get out of this McLaren, but it has not been enough as of yet to get past the Porsche. Current running order of things, we've got Jack Michelson leading the way by 8 seconds over Jack Anderson at the moment, who is all of a sudden under mammoth pressure from James Boardman in behind him here. The classic BMW versus Mercedes battle. The battle of Deutschland on offer right here. The battle for German pride as Borsman sends it up the inside of Anderson. Nearly cuts the nose off. Anderson with the switchback on him. Does what Boardman did to McLeod earlier in the race. As they continue on through turn 7 up towards Mercedes for turn 8. Hard on the brakes. This is the battle for P2 on the road. Further behind, they've got McLeod and Ferguson, Sheaf and Johnny Rowe and TJ Pollard, unfortunately out of race number 1 and in the pit lane. 2.5 minutes to go. Should mean 2 laps to go for these drivers as we rocket through turn 11. And the battle for P2 is on between Anderson and Boardman at the moment. Rowe struggling in behind, a lap down on the leaders. He will need to do 1 less lap than these guys unless he gets the lap back somehow. As they rocket through turn 16. 2 minutes left. 9-second gap up to P1 on the road. It'll be 2 more laps to go in this race. 2 laps for Anderson to survive the onslaught from James Boardman in behind him, who's had an exceptional run thus far. A lot of these drivers been in a tight, intense battle as Boardman trying to send it at the inside at 2, but Anderson able to carry a little bit more speed off the braking zone. Holds the position. We can see Ferguson having a bit of a sniff in the background as well. Couldn't quite get there on McLeod. These guys have been driving extraordinary thus far. Fantastic racing. And I mean, you know, just imagine it. This kind of racing with a full grid would be absolutely awesome week in and week out. We love to see this type of racing here in the IRWC. These drivers are doing exceptional jobs thus far. Up and towards the first stadium section. Anderson still leads on P2 to James Boardman in behind him. Michelson still 9 seconds ahead. Nearly about 10 seconds ahead now thanks to the battling between these two. Trying to give us a good show as best they can. You have to appreciate it. As they come in towards the stadium section, you can see Ferguson running it wide in the background. Cannot quite get past McLeod just yet. But coming up around the final corner now, Jack Michelson will have 1 lap to go. He will get the white flag as he crosses the line this time by. From Barney up here, white flag for Michelson in P1 on the road. 10.5 seconds is the gap. Should be a cruisy run home for Mr. Michelson. The giraffe in the field. Former Mount Gambier local. As Anderson and Boardman continue to battle for P2 on the road. This would be a great showing for both drivers if they can get a solid chunk of points in this race. Michelson, after this race, will for sure be leading the championship solely. He will no longer be tied in first with Sean Linzell. But Anderson and Boardman are continuing this fight forward up and around turn 5. The long back winding straight up towards the braking zone at turn 6. Anderson going to cover that inside line on Boardman. Boardman outbrakes himself a little bit. Anderson's going to get the job done and holds position in P2. Fantastic strategy from the white line entry. Rose had to let McLeod and Ferguson past him in the background up in towards the first stadium section and into Mercedes at turn 8. Ferguson and McLeod still battling in the background. Ferguson's now gotten the job done on McLeod as well. But McLeod's starting to come back at him here, so the battles are still on for the Miners in this race at the moment. As Jack Michelson, after a dominant display, started the car on pole. Had some pressure from Anderson early on, but managed to break away from him eventually. Round the final corner, and Jack Michelson is going to win race 1 here tonight and will lead the championship into race 2. In a couple of moments' time, Jack Anderson in behind him is going to withstand the onslaught from James Boardman, and he will take P2 on the road ahead of Boardman in P3. Ferguson, after so long, finally got past McLeod on the final lap. He'll take home P4 with McLeod home in the top 5. Tyler Sheaf will come round. He'll cross the line. He will finish P6 on the road here tonight. Johnny Rowe, you saw him before, already crossing the line, taking P7. And Pollard unable to finish race number 1. But we still have another race to come, ladies and gentlemen. Still have an opportunity for these drivers to go racing once again. What an exceptional run it was in race number 2. We've got a warm-up to come, 5-minute warm-up action to come, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to roll back the ads and we'll be back very, very soon after these messages from iRacing.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24 will be available September 17th. Pre-order your copy today.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Great to be back leading in towards race 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for continuation of round 2 of season 1 of 2024 IRWC, as well as season 1 of the GT4 challenge here this season. Great to have you all with me watching here tonight. I'm your commentator still, Hamish Munro, bringing you all the action through sight and sound here on the Infinity Broadcasting channel. We've got race 2 to come. Race 1, of course, taken out by Jack Michelson, if you're just joining us, by 10.5 seconds on the board to Jack Anderson. In behind him, your provisional race results for race number 1 up on your screen right now. And we see it was Michelson and then to Anderson in behind. 10.8 seconds was the gap. Then Boardman in behind him with Ferguson, McLeod. All J's for the first names of the top 5. And Tyler Sheep, Johnny Rowe, TJ Pollard in behind them towards the end of that race. For race number 2, though, we have got the grid coming up here on your screens momentarily. If it will decide to play, it's not going to decide to do it yet because we have to wait for them to actually grid up. The warm-up session has finished. We're going to be going racing. We will randomly undeafen ourselves in Discord at some point, ladies and gentlemen, get some words from these drivers out on track. And we will be welcoming some more chaos and controversy all throughout the piece here tonight for race number 2. The grid, though, for this race as follows. TJ Pollard will start on pole position ahead of Johnny Rowe with Tyler Sheaf, Jared McLeod in behind. Jordan Ferguson, James Boardman will then start on the 3rd row with Jack Anderson and Jack Michelson making up the rest of the grid. Full reverse grid for this race, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be up to these drivers to ready themselves and get prepared for what is to come in this race once again. Looking forward to calling the action here as always. If you guys want to join us on a more regular basis, whether that be viewing or whether that be racing, if you want to view us more often and you want to get notified whenever we go racing here on the IRWC, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe and the bell icon as well to the Infinity Broadcasting channel. Bring you every round through sight and sound as long as we are able to get to the racing circuits on time as the safety car pulls away to start this second race of the evening. If you want to join us on track, be sure to check the video description of the stream. There's a link to our Discord in there. Join the Discord, sign up, and you're welcome to come racing with us here in the IRWC for the foreseeable future. Rowan Pollard on the front row. McLeod and Sheaf in behind them. Boardman, Michelson, Ferguson, Anderson all towards the back end of the field. Get your chats out there. Get your predictions going for who you think can take out the win here in race number 2. Is Michelson going to do the double? Is he going to go back-to-back and be the first round winner to win both races in one night? You'll have to let us know, ladies and gentlemen, your thoughts in the chat. Going to be an exceptional run home for these drivers, you would assume. GT4s are going racing once again here at the Hockenheim ring, Baden-Württemberg. Not too far away from it. We already saw some chaos in race number 1 early on. We saw the drivers make mistakes down at turn 3 for the cold tyres, hurting them off the race start. Safety cars in pit lane. Let's go racing at Hockenheim ring once again. Pollard and Rowe on the front row. McLeod and Sheaf in behind. Ferguson, Boardman, Michelson and Anderson. It is go at the Hockenheim ring for race number 2. A phenomenal start from McLeod off the race start. Already side by side with Pollard, and there's massive moment at turn 1. Big old door from McLeod to Pollard. He's off the road. Ferguson's dropped some spots early as well. Maybe a penalty coming McLeod's way in towards round number 3 next week. That's a big moment off the race start. He got aggressive early. There you see the war wounds. Could Pollard have pulled out of it? Who knows? The RC they'll deep dive it. They'll make a decision for next week on whether McLeod gets to qualify or not. Sheafy up the inside of McLeod, though, down at turn 6. Oh, McLeod tried to go for the over-under. Couldn't quite get it done, though. Carried way too much speed. Overcooked it and rear-ended Ferguson. These could be issues, as I've seen Michelson's had a moment early on in this race as well. What has happened? What has happened at the start of this race to Jack Michelson? Does that take him out of contention as McLeod has now spun around at turn 8? It's a massive moment early on, and Johnny Rowe is rocketing away at the front of the field. We will get the replays happening at the end of this lap. But big controversy, big chaos early on as Boardman runs it wide. So does Ferguson and Anderson in behind. You can't even make this up. You cannot even really put a prediction on at this point. We're a minute 40 into this race. Race 1 race winner has lost his whole front end on that BMW. McLeod's been in the wars. So has Pollard. Just massive moments thus far. This is what happened to Pollard at turn 1. As you see him, he's on the inside of McLeod. Oh, McLeod's just turned in on him. He's just turned straight across like he's not there. So you'd have to assume that for certainty. And does this then also answer what happens to Michelson as well? So no. So Michelson still hadn't actually copped the damage just yet. Was that further around? So he was on the inside. On the outside, sorry, of Boardman. Oh, he caught the curb. He did exactly what Sheafy did in race 1 as well as Pollard. Oh, no, Michelson. No, no, no. So some massive moments early on in this race. We'll see if Michelson rejoins the circuit or not. I mean, we know he's got pace. That's taking him right out of contention at this point. An early mistake. Will it cost him the lead of the championship? Well, if he takes 0 points here in race number 2, that will for certain cost him the title or cost him the lead of the championship. And no, he is back out on track. But last place on the road as Borsman has gone round the outside of road. Mercedes versus Mercedes at the front of the field here. Boardman now takes the lead. Anderson up the inside here as Ferguson makes a mistake in the background at turn 12. Off the road and out of the battle for the podium at this stage as Rowan Anderson still battling it out here for P2. Boardman leads the way. Massive controversy and chaos early doors in this one. As we get the timing up on your screen now, Michelson is back out there. He's not quite got a lap down yet, so he still has time to ring this one back in. In fact, he's got 16 minutes to ring this one back in as Anderson's trying to get the job done in the background on Rowe. Have the inside line of the next corner. Needs to be careful. The curb hop. Doesn't want to lose it. If he wants to confirm the round win, he needs P2 on the road in this race. He would then share the round win with Boardman. Although Boardman would actually be classified as the full round winner as Rowe runs it wide at turn 6. That gives Anderson the run he needs. Gets the job done and back up into P2. So Boardman would actually be classified as the round winner because he would have a race win under his belt. On the count back, that is how that would count. So some controversy, some chaos early on in this race. We're only 5 minutes into it, folks. So much more still to come. As Sheafy trying to chase down Johnny Rowe once again. He's already flashing the lights as Rowe. Trying to keep that pressure on Anderson right now. Further back, Ferguson left all on his lonesome, but still inside the top 5 as is Pollard, who's got the possibility of actually having a 1v1 scrap here with McLeod in their debut into the GT4s this season. Michelson all on his lonesome, but setting some quality laps. Just trying to set some good pace, chase down the field and get a solid chunk of points in this one. As I said, if he finishes this race, he should still be leading the championship after this round. At the moment, Boardman is leading the way in this race. I think the only way that Michelson could lose the championship lead, I think, is if Ferguson wins the race and Michelson ends up coming last. I think that's the only way he could actually realistically lose the lead heading into round 3 next week. But Boardman has checked out here at the moment. He is sending it at the front of the field, doing an exceptional job thus far. And just eases it through turn 6, running an exceptional line through there. In behind, on board with Rowe now, the other Merc in the field, trying to chase down Jack Anderson. As Anderson last lap's at the fastest lap of the race, a 147.78 from Anderson. He's hungry to chase down Boardman at the moment. That's actually that's classified as the best lap time thus far because Boardman's best lap time, the 147.2, as Anderson is blinking like an eyeball at the moment. He is not having a good time with that connection. Boardman did do a 147.22, but did cop an off track on that lap, so the lap time is not counted. Michelson, though, 146.98. He is a man on a mission at the moment to try and chase down this field, but it is going to be a tough task to get the job done. As in behind Rowe has got Tyler Sheaf in the other Shelby Power McLaren. So Sheafy and Ferguson running as teammates in this race and in this series as well. We'll see if that pays off for them in any which way. We do not classify or follow the team championship. Maybe these guys are just supporting each other out on track as Rowe is trying to chase down once again Jack Anderson, who is now back within his clutches at this stage. 7 minutes 45 seconds into race number 2. At about 13 minutes left, or 12 minutes left, as Pollard and McLeod battling it out in the background here. This is all for P6. They're getting a bit door-to-door, so these guys have been wrestling all race. They're still having a bit of a wrestle here. They're not willing to give it up as Sheafy sends it up the inside of both. Anderson and Rowe needs to be careful on the inside. Cannot just rocket it up the inside. They're trying to dive bomb down at turn 6. Very lucky not to take out Jack Anderson on that corner. Incredibly lucky as Anderson's now under pressure from Rowe. Up at turn 8. Covers the inside line. Holds position for the moment. And the battle continues on. In behind Pollard and McLeod. These guys are still going door to door at the moment. Racing like a bunch of feisty teenagers at this stage. And they are just willing to slam the door, middle finger the back of it, and just say, you know, just word the words, you know, you mum, fuck you mum, like that. You know, they are having an audacious battle for P6. But, I mean, McLeod drove a great race in race 1. Got into some incredible battles with Boardman and Ferguson as well. Pollard didn't really get the opportunity to after crashing it on lap 1, and then unfortunately just never really recovering in that race. Luckily for him, though, the minus spin at turn 1 has still kept him in the fight at the moment with McLeod. So this guy's still going on strong. They got Ferguson up the road from him. We'll see if they make a little bit of a triple threat action here for us, as Anderson losing position now to Rowe up the road here at turn 2, 3, 4. Sheafy wants to get on the action as well. This has now allowed Boardman to run away with things. 4.5 seconds is the lead. As Sheaf looks to go up the inside of Anderson here. Is he also going to try and bomb Rowe at the same time? No, he's going to tuck back in. Oh, late dive from Sheaf possibly. Is Rowe going to leave the door open? No, not enough. Not nearly enough for Sheafy to get it done. Anderson tried to do the switchback, but flicked the rear end out. That's going to cost him the run, and Sheaf is going to survive this time by. But Anderson back on him now like a bad rash. And he'll be itching to get this thing done on Ferguson. Oh, sorry, on Sheaf, not on Ferguson. The Shell V-Power car is confusing me at the moment. But the battle is feisty between them. It is feisty at the moment. Door-to-door action. There's a battle in behind of door-to-door action as Anderson gets the job done. McLeod and Pollard, these guys still going at it. Side by side in towards the second stadium section. McLeod has to back out of that stage. So they're all having some great battles here. As Rose made a mistake, and there's contact with Sheafy as well. And he's just driving him round. That's taken Sheafy off the podium. Anderson now sits P2 on the road. Pollard and McLeod, these guys are still battling. Oh, Pollard runs it wide. That's going to cost him and take him out of the battle. Big wide run at turn 15. McLeod's going to continue on. Gives us a little bit of a reprieve to check out some of these replays. This happened a little bit earlier in the piece, turn 6. This was Pollard running it wide. It just came back on the track like McLeod wasn't even there. This guy's not looking out their side windows. And this was what happened with Rowe. So Rowe ran it way wide up onto the sand. Anderson then had a run. Sheafy's then tried to go past him as well. Oh, and they've just made contact. So Sheafy just didn't give him enough room through there. Not enough room given from Tyler Sheaf, and that's cost him the podium at the moment. A massive moment at this stage. We've got 8 minutes to go. Current running order of things. Boardman P1 by around about 7 seconds. Anderson P2. Rowe P3. Sheaf in P4. Ferguson P5. McLeod in P6. Pollard P7. Michelson, the championship leader, in P8 at the moment. Do we reckon now might be a good time to chat to these drivers after they've all kind of warmed themselves up a little bit? Do we think? I'm looking in the Discord, and Michelson has just got a look of concentration on his face. He is focused right now at the back end of the field. He's trying to chase these boys down, and they are having an absolute whale of a time. He is just pushing to get anything back on this race. He has gained an immense amount of time on these drivers, though. 20 seconds over probably the last, I want to say, 11 minutes. So he's done well to gain that much. But it's all about consolidating those points at the moment for Michelson. He needs to consolidate the points. Cannot give this up as a drop round since he took a race win. He needs to try and get some points out of it. That's his current mission on the road at the moment, is for Michelson. Now, if he wins a race every other round of the season, then it doesn't matter if this is his drop round. But at this stage, he needs to consolidate these points. He needs to get a good chunk of points on the board, and he needs to try and just push it on forward and rocket his way up the timing tower if he can. Further up, though, Tyler Sheaf, Johnny Rowe. These guys still battling it out at the moment for P3 on the road. Having a great little scrap at this stage. They are doing exceptionally well. And they are pushing on forward at the moment. Doing a great, great job. Sheafy just trying to find any pathway he can around Johnny Rowe. Cannot quite get there just yet. And they're still battling this thing out at the moment. They are pushing and cooking hard. And it has been a war of worlds for these drivers here tonight. Next week, round number 3, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a massive round to come your way, of course. The next round of the GT4s. We've currently got penciled in for round 3, Alton Park. Now, we'll be dependent on the drivers' visas and whether we can actually get the cars across the pond to the UK for that round. But that's what's currently penciled in, is Alton Park for next week. Could be subject to change. We'll have to wait and see. As Sheafy sends it up the inside of Rowe at turn 5, gets the job done, manages to keep it ahead. But Rowe sneaks it back up the inside at turn 6. Anderson's had a moment ahead of them, though. He's had a bit of a spin down at turn 6. And this now brings him back into the battle with them. And unable to run away at this stage in time. So now the battle is back on. 4 minutes to go in this race. And P2 is up for grabs. And I've got to talk about this. Borsman now, thanks to that spin, leads by 15 seconds over Jack Anderson. A wild moment in this race. If Boardman can hold it together for these final 4 minutes, he will be a race winner this season in his debut round here at round 2 for the Hockenheim Ring, Baden-Württemberg. Anderson, though, under mammoth pressure from Sheaf. He can smell blood in the water. He can smell the pressure. It was like Paramore in 2007. He can feel the pressure as well. As Ferguson in the background. Massive wide run at turn 16. Manages to keep it going, though. Rowe, though, just absolutely out of the water there. Turn one. Sheaf with a late run out into the inside line on Anderson. Can he get the job done on him? It's going to be side by side through 3 and 4. Anderson, though, survives in that moment in time. Sheafrey, though, being a little bit of a slippery devil, trying to sneak it past Jack Anderson at the moment, side by side into the braking zone at turn 6. Anderson going for the wider line. Sheafy trying to stop the switchback on him there, side by side through there, covers the switchback. Rose at a moment down at that corner as well. That's now going to drop him out of contention for P2 at the moment. Sheafy's gotten the move done on Anderson and up into P2 on the road. Phenomenal move there. Phenomenal skills shown by Sheafy. Anderson sends it up the inside at turn 8. Job done on Sheaf. Side by side now into 9 and 10. The battle is on for the final 2 minutes of this race. Boardman, he's gone. He's up the road. He's got the win in hand. Just has to keep it clean. But P2 still highly contested. It is still on for young and old here between Tyler Sheaf and Jack Anderson for P2 on the road. If he finishes P2, he will technically be equal round winner with James Boardman. Boardman would get it, though, on the count back for the race win if this were to happen. Round the final couple of corners. 2 minutes to go. 2 laps to go for these drivers in this race. Lap 11 here in the 20-minute feature event of the evening. And the battle is on for young and old. Anderson, though, has managed just to pull away from Sheaf a little bit now through the final sector. Just needs to survive these next 2 laps. Rowe under immense pressure now from Ferguson. This is the battle for P4 on the road. It's almost like a mirror image of the last race. It was Boardman and Anderson battling it out for P2. Last race, it was Ferguson and McLeod battling it out for P4. Ferguson parked right underneath the rear wing of Johnny Rowe like a tent at the top of the mountain. You never had a bloke till you had a bloke in your tent, according to Ferguson. And he woke up with many a blokes in his tent up at the top of the mountain. They're playing bloke beer, of course. As the side action and Rose into the wall. He tried to squeeze Ferguson off the track. That's taken them both out of the top 5. That is for sure going to be a penalty coming Johnny Rowe's way. That's cost both of them in this race. Cost both of them a top 5 in this race. As Pollard and McLeod have now come past them as well. The battle for P2 is still on. Anderson and Sheaf still going at it here for P2. But Anderson has started to check out a little bit. Final lap of the race, though. James Boardman has crossed the line. He has started the final lap. In fact, he's already around turn 1. 17.5 seconds is the gap back to Jack Anderson at this stage. Full running order of things for the final lap. Boardman to Anderson, to Sheaf, to McLeod, to Pollard. Rowe, Ferguson, Michelson makes up the field at this stage in time. It has been a wild, wild race. Absolutely wild race for these drivers here tonight. They have been absolutely on it as Rowan Ferguson now in the lane. This is now going to give Michelson an opportunity to have a battle on the final lap of the race. Oh, they've made contact in the pit lane. What has happened with these two? Ferguson's towed it back to pits. That's now going to give Michelson a run home. Ferguson's not going to cross the line in this race. At the first stadium section, though, Boardman still leads the way. 17.5 seconds is the gap. This now promotes Michelson up to P6. Will still well and truly be leading the championship at the end of this event. But Boardman has shown dominance in race number 2. Built a massive gap, run a clean race in this one in the AMG outfit. And is looking like a quality contender this season if he can race every Monday night. Around the final couple of corners now for James Boardman. And an exceptional run home from him in AMG. He'll cross the line. He will win race number 2 of round 2 here at Hockenheim. for Season 1 of the GT4 Challenge as Anderson and Sheaf still battle it out in the background. IRWC action continuing on as Anderson round the final corner will take home P2. He'll equalise the round win with Boardman, but Boardman will get it on the count back. Sheaf comes home P3 in an exceptional podium. McLeod in behind in another top 5 performance. Pollard comes home P5. Michelson is going to traverse around for P6. Rowe's back out on track, as is Ferguson. These guys are just playing like absolute monkeys at the moment. Absolute monkeys out there. Anderson already starting the celebrations for his P2 on the road. What we'll do is we'll quickly let the boys know that we're going to undeafen. Letting you know, gentlemen, we're going to be undeafening Discord in a second for these post-race chats.
Screw the deaf. We got a last lap dash, mate.
Well, I'm going to quickly start this off by congratulating both Mr. Anderson and Mr. Boardman for equaling the round win, but because it count back in the fact that James actually took a race win, he is technically the round winner here tonight. So congratulations to both of you. And to Sheafy on a podium here tonight, as well to Michelson for his race win in race number 1. But I think the most obvious thing is, boys, what's the problem with turn 4 and why does everyone keep on crashing there?
Which one's turn 4?
Yeah, I was going to say
The one that Sheafy crashed at, the one that Michelson crashed at, the one that Pollard crashed at.
The first race, Johnny.
Yeah.
The BMW is just ridiculously loose on cold tyres, and they don't when you go through.
What I want to know is, I hope I didn't bump off Michelson on that corner. I don't think I
No,
did. But
you didn't. He caught the curb and it got unsettled through that corner.
Yeah, okay.
Another moment we have to talk about as well, Mr. Ferguson and Mr. Rowe just side by side out the exit of turn 6, and someone decided that they didn't want to leave a car width's gap to the edge of the track. Mr. Rowe, you're becoming a bit of an incident magnet at the moment. Who are you claiming this is Ferguson's fault, or is it even Jack Anderson's fault because he wasn't there to be in the incident itself?
It was Jack fault.
A little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, leaning more towards column B of Jack Anderson.
So
the wipers have just come on.
So you're not going to be making the claim that you had any faults at all.
No.
No, who does? Innocent until proven guilty.
Innocent. Okay. Well, we're going to pull up the clip. I got to find what lap it was. I believe it was.
Shooter does not have a handicap, so.
Here it is. I believe it was lap 10. No, it was not lap 10. This is just where you lost it at turn 6 and ran out of talent. I believe it was lap 11. It was lap 11. So we've actually got it up on the stream right now. So Mr. Ferguson's on your outside, although yes, he is technically off the track.
Yes.
And then
you
you're
cannot
both
pass
in
on
the
outside
wall.
of the track. Can't pass on the outside of the track.
That's
It's
a good
fine.
point.
Is this the same spot that he tried to force me off when he was lap down?
So it was the exit of turn 6 up towards turn 7.
How much is that after the hairpin?
I'm watching it now.
Yeah, it was right after the hairpin.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, he was flashing me, and it was just reflecting in my mirror. I couldn't see where he was.
I see. So it just sounds like we're just going to give all excuses right now, are we?
Well, no, it's all Jordan. He tried to pass me on the outside of the track, out of track limits.
hang on. Be in the chat saying it's Ando's fault. So I think we're all going to agree it's Ando's fault. Mr. Michelson, win in race 1, an unfortunate mistake in race 2, but you still lead the championship now, the sole leader of the championship into round 3. Is that at least some consolidation, knowing that you still lead the title race even after a mistake?
Yeah, definitely not happy with how tonight went. Race 1, I was lucky to get the race win, to be fair. I missed a start a fair bit, and I think I was just a bit too nice, in all fairness. And a lot of mistakes as well, so I didn't really capitalise. I was lucky I managed to get clean air and just consistent laps, got back to the front. And then race 2, watching my replay, it was hard racing, and I got on the curb, and it was just enough. These BMWs, especially the opening couple of laps, are very treacherous. Pretty gutted. Tonight was all about trying to maximise as much as I can and try and score as many points. And ultimately I didn't do a good enough job of that. So we'll have a look at it and we'll come back fighting for next week. So got some homework to do, but yeah, we'll keep pressing on.
Hamish, can I clear up? Sources tell me that you tried to say that Jordan and I came together in the pits.
It's what it,
No,
what
that
it looked
was
like, I'm going to be
Jordan
honest.
That Jordan just spat the dummy.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
I
he?
cracked it. I cracked it because
Ah,
it
I
was a
see.
5-second penalty for no reason.
Okay, so that's... Oh, all right, so we can agree then that the first incident was Jack Anderson's fault.
Yes.
Second incident in the pit lane, Jack Anderson's fault. We can agree on that one as well?
Yes.
All right, very good.
Yes.
Okay, well, Michelson, you did very well, though. I mean... Lucky to win a race by 10.5 seconds. I don't know if that's luck. If that's luck, you're winning the lotto this week. I mean, like, come on. But no, exceptional run home, boys. You did very, very well. I look forward to next week at round 3. Some great racing, even for 20-minute races. I thought this was going to be long as anything, but you actually made it quite enjoyable out there, so I can appreciate that. I'm going to quickly sign off for tonight, but congratulations to all of you on your performances. Oh, and also, Michelson, tell your mate, when there's someone alongside him, don't just turn across into turn 1 like he's not there.
Yes, we'll do. It looked like,
What's that mean?
from what I say, there's a bit of chaos. So
It's a travelling circus. What do you expect?
yeah, we're all learning and having fun with it. So, but for his first round, and he's only had iRacing for I think 1 or 2 weeks, so he's just getting the ropes and learning. So,
It's
but yeah.
pretty quick.
There's certain A license guys, Jack, that tend to do that as well.
Oh, very good. All right, boys. We'll let you go. Best of luck next week at Alton Park. I'll be sure to see if that action is just as good as it was here at Hockenheim for some Germany action. This has been an incredible race, though, ladies and gentlemen. Once again for round number 2. We appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us for tonight. We'll see you guys next week for round number 3. Penciled in for Alton Park at the moment. We'll see if it is still going to be at Alton Park. Otherwise, we may be ending up somewhere else. We'll have to see how the visas and the travel dates happen for these cars. But until next time, I've been Hamish Munro. This has been the IRWC and the GT4 Challenge here on Infinity Broadcasting. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24 will be available September 17th. Pre-order your copy today.